Do you think an Atlanta defund the police backer who has his car stolen in the middle of the day by children is going to change his mind about defunding the police? Probably not. Hey guys, Mike the Cop, and I'm going to break this story down that made front page news, at least on foxnews.com. This just hit my Facebook feed, my personal feed, like, oh, well, this is funny. So I should talk to you guys about it. Maybe you'll find it interesting as well. So if you like the content that I've been putting out, I appreciate you guys commenting, sharing it up, liking it, hitting the notification bell on whatever system, all that good stuff. So let's get into this. Atlanta defund the police backer has car stolen by kids in broad daylight. So this happens to Antonio Brown, who is not just a defund the police backer, he's a councilman down there in Atlanta, and he is also a recent mayoral candidate. So it says, an Atlanta city councilman who is aiming to be the city's next mayor had his car stolen by children in broad daylight Wednesday. I'm sorry, I'm laughing. No, I'm not. Councilman Antonio Brown was attending a ribbon-cutting ceremony at an event in northeast Atlanta around noon when at least 4 kids, they don't even know how many it was. There's so many kids. They just all came at once and just took my car. That's normal. You don't immediately think, oh, these kids are going to steal my car. Well, you do if you're in Atlanta these days. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, here we have a nice picture of Mr. Antonio Brown, who looks very discriminated against and very oppressed. But the incident occurred amid a recent crime wave in the city. Let me pause there for a second. Of course you have a crime wave in the city, because last year what you did was you jumped the gun, pun intended, with Officer Garrett Rolfe, who had done his job exactly as he should have, and he was still fired within 24 hours of the incident and thrown under the bus by a corrupt DA. Now, all of that stuff is sort of coming full circle again against the city, and the officer is in the clear because of this, because, again, he's just doing his job the way that he's supposed to do, and I'm not going to get down into the weeds in that story. But of course there's a crime spree happening in Atlanta because, A, cops are fleeing their jobs in these major urban centers run by wacko leftists who are so woke they don't realize that they're ruining their cities in the process, or maybe they do. I don't know. But of course there's increased crime. Why? You shouldn't be surprised that this is happening. Yeah, it's a recent crime wave because you're recently stupid for how you're treating those that you're expecting them to enforce the law without actually being able to do it. So this nonsense is not surprising to me. But Brown, who joined the city's mayoral race less than 3 weeks ago, is running on a campaign of, quote, reimagining public safety. Hey, listen, Mr. Brown, you don't have to reimagine it. You've already done it. You're living the reimagined public safety. You don't have to change it. It's your reality. Because this is the world that you seem to appreciate, where police aren't around to respond to something like kids jumping into your car and taking off. This is ridiculous. Brown said the thieves jumped in his vehicle Wednesday after he got out to speak with community leader Ben Norman. He noted his white Mercedes-Benz. Oh, I'm looking at my my very poorly paid intern. His Mercedes-Benz. He wants to cut $73 million from the police budget, and he wants to blame cops for his problem. You're gonna like this, Andy. You're gonna like this when we get back here and you see what he's blaming this crime on. You're gonna love this, guys. You'll be so shocked. It has keyless push-to-start ignition. He failed to realize it had been started. So he must have been pretty close to the vehicle for it to start with his keys still wherever they were at. I don't know. He described the kids as being between the ages of 6 and 12. How is that possible? I just did a video. My intern will put the screenshot up here. Just did a video where a defense attorney said an 11-year-old couldn't possibly be a suspect in a crime. These guys are 6 to 12. How's that possible? I'll tell you how it's possible. It's because their parents suck or they're not present. And we're having a culture that encourages this, tolerates it. That's why. I did another video. This is all just tying together nicely. I did another video, to put another screenshot up here, of an officer getting kicked out of an elementary school by some crazy wingnut administrator. He kicks the officer out of the school. Well, how are you supposed to have a positive impact on less budget and less ability to actually have positive interactions that paint police in a positive light and connect them with these kids in the community who don't have parents, whose parents are absent? We all know that a lack of fathers in the home is a huge problem, especially in inner cities. This is a known fact. And you take the cop out of the inner city and out of positive interactions, what do you expect to happen? They don't have a good influence at home. They don't have a good influence through law enforcement officers who would otherwise be willing to engage with them, because you and your Mercedes driving press status are blaming it on everybody except where the responsibility lies, and coming up with solutions that are anything but making you responsible to have a part in the solution. But anyway, I digress. One kid was in the driver's seat. Ben attempted to open the door and get him out of the car. He fought with Ben. I then engaged and tried to get him out of the car. The three other kids were trying to figure out how to get in or stay out. He started to hit on the gas. Brown added that he held onto the car in an attempt to stop them, was dragged about a block down the road. He really loved that Mercedes-Benz, my man. Like, I don't care what it is, man. It could be a brick of gold, and if it's flying down at 70 miles down the street, I'm letting go. I don't want no part of that. All right, as he started to speed up, this is the councilman talking, I knew that if I had not let go, I knew I probably could have killed myself because he was going so fast. I would have started to fumble and I would have hurt him. I don't think the driver would have been hurt. I think it would have just been you. You'd just been run over and you'd have driven away with your Mercedes like you did anyway. Brown doesn't plan on filing charges against the kids, he said they act out of desperation. Well, of course they're acting out of desperation, but they're really acting out of a complete lack of direction. It's not desperation. They don't desperately need a Mercedes. Wake up, councilman. They don't need a Mercedes. So this is, they don't need a car. They're 6. They're freaking 6 years old. They're not desperate for a car, you moron. They don't have anybody disciplining them. They don't have anybody giving them direction. And you know who does that? When parents are absent? Oh my gosh, people in the community. You know who one of those people are? The police. Because that's what happens in well-run communities, is the police are part of the solution and they're not part of the problem. But when you cut them back, you criticize them, you throw them under the bus, you're going to get run over by that same bus, or in this case, your Mercedes. All right, he says this is a generational poverty issue. Come on, man. The solution to poverty isn't stealing Mercedes. You think a 6-year-old's going to know where to go to hawk this Mercedes? What, is he going to sell it on eBay? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, so he says this is a generational poverty issue. These kids, it's 12:30 in the afternoon. Why aren't they in school? Get this. Why aren't we enforcing systems to ensure that if they're not in school, they're in recreational centers? Oh, man, why don't we have more people enforcing things? Why? If only there was something to enforce laws about going to school and staying out of trouble. If only there was somebody that we could budget to do that. Have you heard of such an organization, Andy? Anybody heard of something? Man, that'd be really smart, wouldn't it? All right, Atlanta police are investigating, and I'm sure that based on the way that Brown has treated the Atlanta police, they're right on that. But Brown is under indictment, oh, shocker, on federal charges related to alleged incidents that occurred in the years prior to him winning the council seat in 2019. Federal fraud charges. Color me shocked. I just can't believe it. Can you guys believe it? I don't know. This is just I felt like I needed to just get this out into the air, comment on this. And I wanted to try this style a little bit. You know, I've got my heroes. B. Tatum, thank you so much. Tim Pool, the way that they cover the news and they kind of scroll behind this and I'm in the corner. I don't know, figured I'd give it a try. I'm like, instead of a copycat murderer, I'm a copycat content creator or something. Whatever. I wanted to do this. I had fun. Hope you guys did too. Again, thank you for all your support, and I appreciate you guys always following along my content. Believe in what I do. Get the word out there with me. Thanks.